KrishnaSewaNanda. Very welcome to Norway.
Thank you.
In this rapidly changing world with so many different kind of crises because of the environmental change, because of the war, because of the inter and intra-state conflict, because of the difference between rich and poor, many kind of issues are there. And we need the inner transformation in academia. In which way the type of knowledge that you are promoting globally will help to address some of this problem, some of the problem of the mind because of the corrupt mind, because of, new leaders are also becoming more and more corrupt and also with a lot of ego and so on. So what kind of education we need for inner transformation?
I think the first thing to accept and to try to understand is that human beings are physical, mental, and spiritual beings. And if we want to have a feeling of well-being, and if we want to have a society that supports well-being, then you have to acknowledge that. And just as we need physical food and physical exercise, physical rest and physical cleansing, so also we need mental and spiritual food. We need mental and spiritual exercise, rest and cleaning. So just understanding that three-dimensional aspect of human beings and what is required to have a fulfilling, balanced human society where people feel well in themselves, I think that's the first step.
So the well-being, I mean, everybody are looking for well-being. So well-being can be an entry point in education, that everybody needs well-being. And therefore we need this kind of so-called, they call it alternatives, like yoga, like meditation and so on. So now I'll ask you about in which way we can bring this yoga, meditation or any other kind of techniques in academia so that they will not label it, oh, this is a part of your religion, this is a part of your worldview, your conception, your cosmovision. It's not mine. So why are you giving me this knowledge? In what kind of techniques or in which way, using the science, using the philosophy, we can bring it to academia?
I think a good way to start is by looking at the mental problems that people are facing: loneliness, depression, anxiety, stress, and so forth, and look at how practically spiritual practices help us deal with that. There's already been quite a bit of research in that area. Recently I was very interested to read about the research of Dr. Lisa Miller, a research psychologist in the United States. And she studied a lot of large group analysis and data about the relationship between depression and spirituality. And she found that, or her conclusions were that depression is not always a medical condition. It can often be a natural stage in a person's growth. When they become frustrated with a limited experience of reality and they're looking for something deeper. And her studies revealed that people who are very susceptible to depression are also the people who are very sensitive for spiritual growth. And that people who had successfully passed through some kind of depression with the help of some kind of spiritual practice, they were the ones in the end who were most resistant and who had the most resilience in terms of well-being and being able to manage difficulties and resistance to stress and things like that.
Sure, Dada. So, as you said rightly, this word resilience, and we need psychological resilience today for a number of reasons. Given the knowledge, wisdom tradition that you inherit, what contributes to psychological resilience in human being?
I think there's two main things. One is the learned capacity to step back and detach from anything which limits, contracts, constricts, or agitates one's consciousness. Right? So being able to, for example, step out of limiting self-concepts or negative self-concepts, to disidentify with kind of unhealthy, negative views of oneself or one's past. And then the second part is, having done that, being able to immerse one's attention in something healing, something expansive, an idea of the underlying unity, right? So to be able to detach from the outlying diversity and separateness, and to be able to identify and kind of connect one's feeling of self with a greater underlying whole. I think those two things.
Great. And also, the scientific literature are saying that if you have a lot of pro-social behavior, if you have a lot of social connection, you become more resilient. And also, if you have a attitude of that, what you say, that attitude that this problem, dilemma is not only mine, but everybody do suffer, human beings suffer, and this too will pass away, this too is impermanent. If we have that kind of attitude, it also helps. And if you have a value system, I mean spiritual orientation, study has found that they are also more resilient people. And many others. And if you cultivate a sense of humor, for taking every situation a little bit lightly, and also like the Guru Gorakhnath say that even the meditation you can do in a joyful mode. Guru Gorakhnath says that hasiva, kheliva, dhariva, dhyanam. Laugh, enjoying and doing, you can do the dhyana or meditation. It's not only to be stiff and do it. So there are multiple ways which people can bounce back if they face the adversity, and also use that one as a positive substance to grow, right? Dada, in your life also, in others' life also, this dilemma, disorienting dilemmas in life, problem, that comes to wake you up and to make you more wise and resilient, right? It's not necessarily to punish you.
Yeah, I think if we look at what is happening in the universe, it's all about the evolution of consciousness, the expansion of mind. And mind expands through increasing levels of challenge and difficulty. The challenges become more subtle, more complex, or tougher. And that causes our mind to evolve. So difficulties you can see as the loving attention of the universe helping us develop our awareness. So we are given difficult problems today that require a deeper level of awareness. And if we respond to those difficulties in a sense like you said, joyful, people enjoy competing in a computer game. And when they get good at that level, they like to go on to the next level. And it's a kind of game and a sport. And I think if we take it that way, that's nice.
Dada, how we can develop, we student or anybody can develop the quality of compassion?
I think because on a deeper level, we are all connected to each other. Right? Externally, we see differences. But at the same time, all human beings feel some kind of connection with other human beings, with nature, with the universe. When the mind is agitated, we lose that sense of connection. But when the mind is still and calm, it naturally gets stronger, right? If I am busy in my own head, I don't feel or understand the person I'm talking to very well. But if I'm calm and quiet, I feel a sense of connection. So compassion will come as stillness of mind and a feeling of underlying connectedness with the whole gets stronger. I think it's a natural thing.
No, that's very true. But a student would like to see benefit finding. If they want to do something, what is benefit for me to do? And then research and compassion, when it says that those who extend their compassion, they get so many biopsychological benefit. If you also bring them and make aware of those findings, that may also attract them to do some charity work, this, that.
Yeah, people who do service are usually the happiest people.
Yes, those kind of research and so on. And Dada, finally, university, we people, we in academia, it's not easy because there are diversity of students with a diverse worldview, thought process, mindset, and so on. It is not like, if somebody suffered and they come for some kind of relief in the ashram or something. To the university student and that kind of audience, and the professors are also many square-minded, like us, who only understand their ontology and epistemology, and they do not want to see that other have also their ontology and epistemology. In those kind of very hardcore scientific kind of background, what is the skillful way to bring such transformative knowledge?
I think on the one side, using the word unity and diversity and just appealing to the two kinds of knowledge that we have. We have knowledge about diversity, but we also have, which is not so much emphasized, but we have a sense of connection. And how can we increase and strengthen that connection? I think most people, from whatever discipline they are, will feel that it's important that human beings feel a sense of connection to nature, to each other, and to the universe. So anything that we can do that strengthens that strengthens that underlying sense of synthesis will have, on the one hand, individual benefits by a person will feel less lonely and cut off and confused, but also important social benefits in the sense that people will put less emphasis on what divides them and feel a stronger sense of what unites them. And that uniting feeling comes in stillness, in silence, when people are quietly together.
Today, students have two big problems. One is anxiety, another one is mind wandering. How to address this? Anxiety and mind wandering. They have eco-anxiety because climate is changing, war is happening, and they don't know about what happens to future. Eco-anxiety and anxiety of unknown. And also mind wandering is that they use so much of social media and so many kind of things that their mind is difficult to focus in the present moment and the task they are doing. How to handle these two problems?
First, people have to understand that both anxiety and wandering mind are a result of the constant externalization of the mind. The more the mind gets external, the less we feel more confused, more distracted, and less in touch with ourselves. So undergoing regular disciplined training of how to internalize the mind is what is necessary. And that brings immediate benefits in sense of peace and reduction in anxiety, but also it develops concentration and mental steadiness.
So the key here is the inner transformation, how to develop the quality of awareness in a clean, pristine way, how to understand the connection with everything else in a right way, in a right purpose, and then to get insight from so many science, work, wisdom, tradition, and indigenous knowledge, so that they can really know that, oh, this makes sense, because there are diversity of audience, right? And based on that, if you make a futuristic thinking, okay, my goal is not to just get a degree and earn money, but to be beneficial to all sentient beings. And finally, in order to do that, they have to, in this problematic world, they should also learn actual skill or agency, human agency, the willpower and structure around to act. All these things will be required, right, like Dada, for this student, I mean, in academic kind of setup. These things that we can bring one by one.
I think both peace of mind, a sense of well-being, but also capacity of agency increase and develop with the power of concentration and with the sense of connection and being able to ground yourself in your own inner stillness, right? Without that, we lack the confidence, we lack the clarity, we lack the steadiness to have agency, really.
So Dada, in this such a serene kind of, in the witness of sky and ocean and nature here, I was able to talk to you. And I really need your little bit of blessing also, so that we are able to bring this to for the greater good. Thank you so much, Dada.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Namaste.